Hey everybody, and welcome back to Lindsey's Little Library. So I'm here today with my October wrap-up. I do make it a point to try to scare myself every single October. I want to read all the creepy, spooky, thrillery books that I possibly can. So I actually got 6 books read this month, which I'm kind of surprised because this last week was a struggle to even get 1 book done. So I'm pretty happy with that. It did help that we took our little road trip in October, so I got through probably almost 2 full books during that. That was a lot of time in the car, so that helped for sure. First book I want to talk about is actually The Night Swim by Megan Golden. Sorry, I had to look at her other book. I'm not sure where The Night Swim is at the moment. Either I'm forgetting things, I borrowed it to somebody, I don't even know. I'm losing my mind here, guys, but I read that at the beginning of the month. I gave that 4 stars. The Night Swim, there are 2 different timelines that are kind of taking place in this very small town. I want to say we're on the Oregon coast, California coast, over the west, the Pacific side. And small town, kind of off the beaten path, not a whole lot of tourists come there. So Rachel finds herself in this small town, this small community, investigating or following a trial of a young man who is put on trial for raping a teenage girl. And in the process of investigating kind of that side of things and that current crime, she uncovers there was a very similar crime that happened I want to say maybe 10 or 20 years before, that had some really interesting parallels to the current crime that she's investigating. So you have your dual timelines, you have this podcast element, which I thought was so awesome and super unique. And then the whole mystery and the whodunit and the what actually happened piece going on. So it was fantastic. 4 stars. I wouldn't say super creepy, just more mysterious. There were a couple of little creepy parts, but not super creepy. I should do a creepy scale. Maybe next year we'll do a creepy scale. Anyways, that was the first one I got to. I don't even know the order I went from there. But anyways, the next, or one of the other ones I picked up was Haunting the Deep by Adriana Mather. She wrote How to Hang a Witch, which I read last October, and I'm so glad I followed it up with this second book this October. In my opinion, you need to read How to Hang a Witch first because you get a sense of the relationships that are happening within this book because they're already built in the first book. Could you follow along and still enjoy the book? Absolutely, but I think it's a better experience if you read the first one. So this one basically takes place, what's her name? Sam? Yeah, Sam she can see ghosts, which is cool. I love me a good ghost book. And all of a sudden she is kind of pulled into this mystery as far as what happened to the ghosts of the people who died on the Titanic. Someone is collecting all of the ghosts and she gets drawn into this mystery and has to try to figure it out. And this one's creepy. This one's good too. Not super high on the creepy scale because it is YA, but still creepy. If you like a good ghost book, I highly suggest this one. And what did I give it? 4 stars. That's good. Good. All right. We'll keep going with creepy. Burntown is another book I picked up by Jennifer McMahon. I think I picked this up at the beginning of the month. Jennifer McMahon, she's a creepy author. If you want some creepy stuff, she knows how to set a scene, I'm telling you. This follows this little quaint New England college town, and we have Eva, who goes by the name of Neko. You'll find out why in the story. But she's living on the street. She's been part of this underworld in Burntown that kind of exists of homeless people who are choosing to be homeless. That's the way that they are choosing to live. She is living in that world out of kind of the effects of what happened when she was a kid. When she was little, her father and her brother died in a flood that occurred at the house that she grew up in. Her mother saved her. She almost drowned herself, and so they were just devastated by what happened. They ended up kind of going and living in this kind of underground of Burntown, and her mother, not all that long ago, ended up committing suicide. And so she's trying to piece together, where does she go from now? What happens? What really happened? And she starts to kind of discover that there were some secrets in her past, and she needs to quickly figure them out because she's in some trouble. So I don't want to say much more than that because I want you to be, I just want you to immerse yourself in this book as my, just do it. Okay. So 4 stars for that one as well. And then I picked up The Whisper Man by Alex North, and I would say out of all of these books, this was the one that I wanted to put in the freezer. This was creepy. This was slightly disturbing. This ending was like, I am still like, what? So Whisper Man gets 5 stars for me. It follows kind of a serial child kidnapper killer who is in prison. So we know about his past crimes, but they're happening again, pretty much. There's a creepy house in here, and there's just the way they describe how the Whisper Man is attracted to these kids and how it's just, ugh, it's creepy. It's 5 stars. It's high on the creep-o-meter, that's for sure. Then another one I picked up, kind of my last of the creepy books that I read, which was 5 of them, is The Hunger by Oma Katsu. So I'm torn on what to do about this. I'm probably sitting at about a 3.5 stars, and I'm not sure if it's because of where my mind was at this last week, which is when I was reading this book. This last week was probably the worst week we have experienced from a virtual school perspective that we have had so far. We have been doing virtual or at-home learning, which is what they call it, since the middle of September. So we're a good 7 weeks into it, and it is really hard. So that can be talked about in a whole different time. But because of that, I was very highly distracted, exhausted. I had a hard time doing anything other than keeping my head above water during the day. So when I was able to read, I don't think I was getting out of the book what I'm supposed to get out of this book. I think it was more, I need to get this done by the end of October, not I want to know what happens in the story. So that being said, my 3.5 stars might be not what I would normally have given this book if I would have been able to really truly concentrate and really enjoy the story. Hopefully that makes sense. There are parts of this book that were a little strange to me that didn't quite go with the rest of the story, so I'm not sure if it was supposed to be that way or I don't know. I'm confused, and I would love it if you read this book. I could talk to you about it. There was a storyline or a little chapter in this book that I just don't feel needed to be in there, and I feel like it was put in there on purpose to fulfill a checkbox, and I'm bothered by that. So if you've read this book, let's talk about it because I want to know your perspective. Anyways, this takes the story of the Donner family who went on the Oregon Trail, took a different route to California. Things didn't end well for that family. They basically turned into cannibals. So this takes that story and puts a twist on it as if there is something or someone that is hunting them and infecting them and causing them to act the way they are. And so there's definitely creepy moments. Oh, there's some creepy moments. And then there's just some plain strange moments. And there's so many characters that I had a hard time keeping track of who was who. They went back and forth in time a little bit, and so I was confused as to is this present or is this a year ago? I just got a little confused with that. Again, could have been where my mind was at. Absolutely. So I would still suggest this book. I am still excited to read her other book, which is The Deep. It's another Titanic ghostly retelling. It just so happens to be sitting right here. I want to give that a try. And I probably should put this back on my shelf as a reread at some point in time when my head's just in a better space. The other thing it could have been is that I had just finished reading Where the Lost Wander, which is another Oregon Trail type story. So maybe those are too close together. I don't know. And I might actually go into a deeper dive video comparing these two because they had, I mean, they were going to sit the same places in these books. So we can talk about that some other time, but 3.5 stars. And if you've read it, tell me and we need to talk. The other book I read is Where the Lost Wander by Amy Harmon. 5 stars. My favorite book of the month. Oh my God. It's so good, you guys. It's so good. So it follows the Oregon Trail, 1853. We have the May family with a whole bunch of other families. Just they're headed for, are these guys going to Oregon, I think, not California. I don't remember. They're headed west to start a new life. Oh my God. It's just so good. The way this book starts out in the first 26 pages, I was like, what the heck am I am already emotionally wrecked and I've barely gotten into the story. And it goes from there. Honestly, if she wouldn't have structured this book the way she did, putting that prologue, and it's not 26 pages, it's 6 pages, the first 6 pages, guys. If she wouldn't have put that prologue there, I think it would have been a little slow start for me. But because she put that where she did, you get a glimpse at the future, what's going to happen. And so then it's like, oh my God, what is this buildup of details that gets to this moment in time that happens, and then what happens after that. It is glorious. It is so well written. There are so many good little quotes in this book. There's quotes about love, and basically love hurts, but it's worth it. There's quotes about hope. There's quotes about having the will and the determination. If that's all that I have, then that's going to get me through. It's just so fantastic. I loved this book. 5 stars. Read this one for sure. Promise me right now. So that's what I got done in October. Overall, fairly good reading month. I just ended on The Hunger, so I'm looking for something new now to start me out with, which I did pick up Pray for Silence from Linda Castillo. I picked that up last night, and I am, 20 pages into it, and we are already gone. We are in the midst of a murder already. We are in the midst of a mystery, and Kate Burkholder is already on scene, guys, and she's gonna figure it out. It's fantastic so far. I'm hoping this goes pretty quick. And then I don't know what November's gonna bring for me. I'm kind of in this place of I don't know what I need right now. So I'm glad I'm surrounded by the books that I am. We're gonna just go on a whim and pick up what feels right. Book club wise, I'm trying to think. The one for my in-person book club I'm kind of not really jiving with right now, so I'm not gonna read that one. The one I am interested in is Waking Lions. This is for my workbook club. This one follows a neurosurgeon who ends up hitting somebody with his SUV after he left an exhausting hospital shift. He can see that the victim can't be saved, and then I think he drives away, and kind of what happens from there. So very interested to see what happens with this book. Other than that, I don't know. We just might go with some sort of random pick a book and not have a list, which I'm fine with. I like that. So those are my plans for November. That's what I read in October. Comment down below. Did you read any freaky books this week? Did you read any spooky books this month? What's been on your list? If you've read The Hunger, I need to talk. We need to talk. Otherwise, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.